America has been supporting Israel through thick and thin, but the question is why? To answer that question, and specifically why today America supports Israel so much, let me quickly go over the history of America's support for Israel. If you want a more comprehensive history, watch my Israel-Palestine conflict Everything You Need to Know video after this. But I'll give you the history of America's support for Israel here. America has been supporting Israel since its founding in 1948, and was the first country to officially recognize it. But the Jews taking control of Israel was a popular idea long before that. It has been discussed by Christians since the 1580s, but it became increasingly politically popular in England in the 1800s. For less than virtuous reasons that I'll discuss later. And it quickly spread to America, with President John Adams writing, "I really wish the Jews again in Judea as an independent nation." An interesting thing that you might notice is that throughout history, the most powerful supporters of Zionism were Christians. And most of those Christians were very anti-Semitic. For example, President Truman, who was the first American president supporter of Israel, was actually quite anti-Semitic, having called the Jews selfish. During World War II, the United States rejected a lot of Jewish refugees, forcing them to go back to Germany where they'd later be killed. And the United States continued to reject Jewish immigrants even after World War II. So why would such an anti-Semitic country be so pro-Israel? Let's get into that. Before I do that, I want to quickly remind you that if you enjoy the video, you should like, subscribe, and comment. I know everyone does this, but asking actually increases the amount of likes and traction this video gets, and it's important, so do it! First, and most importantly, let's talk about America. A land of the home of the brave and the true and the free. America, yeah, all the America memes, okay? All the memes. But also, we are extremely important and powerful because of this, and control of this. So, America, and because of that, American allies support Israel. This is for three main reasons. Neoliberals and neoconservatives, people like Clinton or Bush, support Israel because they want to have control or strong allyship with a regional power in the Middle East. And really want Israel to act like a pseudo-military base for the United States. This is important to them for a lot of reasons, but a big one is this liquid and this liquid that transports this liquid, also known as oil and the Suez Canal. That one river that was blocked by that one boat with all the memes, that's the Suez Canal. The United States also really does not want Iran to have nukes. The second reason America supports Israel is because of Christian evangelicals. Christian evangelicals want the second rapture to happen. That basically means the end times where all the Christians go to heaven and everyone else suffers. They believe that for that prophecy to come true, Israel needs to be controlled by the Jews. The idea that Jews need to control Israel for the rapture to happen is not new. Like I already said, it started in the 1850s, soon after the Protestant-Catholic split. It was integral to the signing of the Balfour Declaration in 1917, which declared support for Palestine being the Jewish homeland. Britain's support for Zionism was not very pro-Jewish though. It was seen more as a way to get rid of the Jews, to push them out of Europe, while also fulfilling the very popular Rapture prophecy. For example, one of the most prominent and influential promoters of the ideology, John Nelson Darby, who is often credited for being one of the primary people to bring Zionism to America, says in his own writing, "In a word, it is the final and terrible tribulation of the Jews, guilty of having rejected their Messiah." Or another prominent Christian Zionist in America, the at the time president of the Southern Baptist Convention, Bailey Smith, who stated publicly, "God does not hear the prayers of the Jews." So that's like literally why they want Israel to be controlled by the Jews, so that they can fulfill their doomsday prophecy. Ironically, a doomsday prophecy where the Jews burn and suffer and go to hell. So it's not a pro-Jewish take. But evangelicals have a lot of power, especially in the Republican Party, because they are a massive voter base in America. The third reason given for supporting Israel is because it's a beacon of democracy in the Middle East. These people are mostly the first and some of the second types of people pretending that's the reason why they support Israel, when it's normally one of the first two. It's totally not because I want a military base, it's because of beacon of democracy. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some people that truly believe that Israel is a beacon of democracy in the Middle East. I'm not saying that all people who say this are lying. And yes, if you look at things like gay rights or levels of democracy, they are better than the theocratic dictatorships that surround them. Not like it's currently trending in the right direction, and these rights do not extend to the Palestinians they occupy. But yes, they do have some form of democracy. So I was just going to write some stuff down on the screen about how Israel is becoming less and less of a democracy, but the screen couldn't fit it, so I'll just say some of them real quick. Things like Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, trying to remove a lot of the power from the Supreme Court so he has less checks and balances and consolidates power within his own hands. Or like Israel's attacks on free speech, where they brutalize and arrest their citizens if they don't say exactly what Israel wants them to say, and are even punishing people for liking or reposting stuff on social media. Like recently, 2 activists of a Jewish Arab peace movement were detained by Israeli police for showing a sign that they deemed was too offensive. The message on the sign was, "Jews and Arabs, we will get through this together." Terrorists, straight to jail. Arrest them right now. Israel also has a habit of killing journalists. Even before the war, they have killed journalists, but as of January 22nd, at least 83 journalists have been killed in Gaza since October. And you might say that they're just casualties of war and that they're not being targeted. And while there's no undeniable proof that Israel is targeting these journalists were often killed in direct strikes on their homes. Homes that Israel knows the locations of. Why is Israel striking journalists' homes? That's for you to decide if it's a legitimate reason or not.
ولا حصانة لأي شيء لا تحملها هذه الدروع ولا تحملها هذه القبعات إنها مجرد شعارات نرتديها فقط هي لا تحمي أي صحفي على الإطلاق لا تحملها هذه الدروع ولا هذه ما نرتديها فقط هي شعارات فقط مع فرق التوقيت نحن ننتظر الدور واحدا تلو الآخر. زميلنا محمد أبو حطب كان هنا منذ نصف ساعة فقط وغادرنا الآن هو وزوجته وابنه وأخيه وكثير من عائلته هم ضحايا هنا في داخل المستشفى. حباب شوي.
And a lot of politicians also use this line of rhetoric to hide their less palatable reasons for supporting Israel. And then some people, it's literally just overtly because they don't like brown people. That they like Israel because racism. That I would say that's not the majority necessarily, but there are some people who are just gonna openly be like, brown people, not my thing. Not my thing. This has led to us giving them a ton of military aid, which has led to the things like the Iron Dome, which is basically a defense system which shoots up rockets to destroy other rockets. I'm not a military expert, but basically it protects them from rocket barrages and also other offensive military weapons too. They have substantially better military equipment than their neighbors, and I do believe also a few nukes. Now that you know why the United States supports Israel, you might want to learn about the relationship with the countries that surround them, which you can do in this video. Or if you're more interested about the entire history of the Israel-Palestine conflict, you can watch the video right here. Thanks for watching, stay safe, bye guys!